Show with Adrian Biddle, Melissa Bartlett, and your boy Kerry Bixby. It's your show, so tell us what you want to talk about. It's the At the Round Table podcast show.
Every time I listen to that, man, it be so smooth. When I see Adrian come across.
One day you gonna come back, y'all gonna catch me because I'll be like, boom, boom, boom.
that intro is fire.
Oh man, it gets me live, boy. I be sitting here just like, I'm sitting the intro like,
it's time.
Ready to go, boy. What's going on, family? It is the At the Round Table podcast show, which is the People's Podcast. And man, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, especially when I get to hang out with some dopalicious individuals. That's the word today. Dopalicious.
Dopalicious.
Yes. And starting with the both of them. Ladies first, of course. Miss Dopalicious, the pit bull in the dress, no bad days. It's Melissa Bartlett. What's going on?
What's going on, family? It is Wednesday, middle of the week. We halfway through it, halfway towards the weekend. Had a very joyous celebration of my oldest crossing for her sorority. She is now officially a Sigma Gamma Rho. So shout out to those ladies in that foundation.
Congratulations.
And other than that, just recovering, realizing, I can't make it on 3 hours and 4.5 hours of sleep. It takes me a couple days to catch up. So that is it. I'm just looking forward to the show. So funny that A Money brought us this topic because it was a conversation I was having on one of my message boards just last week. And we had a different spin on it, which, I'm going to bring up when we get to start talking. So, yeah, I'm excited about the show. And peoples, my dude, the one who brings me pleasure, the one that I get a chance to have fun with.
Wait a
my
minute.
Brother. Money.
Ooh, I needed that. I appreciate the intro. Mel. Real quick, everybody go through a season where it just seems like it's just stuff jumping off left and right and everything, and you really never know what an individual is going through.
Mm-hmm.
But at that same time, too, I think God does that to help you gain perspective on some of the things that's important. So I want to give thanks for that. I apologize for getting on my little spiel with that, but hey, got to praise him whenever you can.
Well,
So last but not least, the gentleman below me and Melissa, the one that stirs the drink, the conductor himself, CD.
What is going on, family? Hey, bro, let me tell you something. It is do not apologize for giving him praise, because I'm going to tell you, it is, I can be the first one to tell you today how much that is greatly needed. Thanking him for all the things that he's done. And shoot. And I'm happy. I'm going to tell you, I'm happy because when Mel told me about our niece, about to be part of that Greek life, it made my heart jump. Let me tell you. Because, a lot of people would question as far as the importance of Greek life, especially Black Greeks. And A Money and myself are both part of the Greek life. And I'm going to tell you, there is nothing like having that type of camaraderie, that fellowship, that closeness, and just being able to even work side by side in the community. And it's beautiful to step to. And it's beautiful to have that nail on, but it's just something about being able to just walk side by side with your fellow man or your fellow woman and do some amazing things for people in the community. And ironically enough, it kind of ties into what we're talking about tonight as well. So,
Mm.
shouts out to our niece for becoming a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
I'm
Don't you?
trying to look up church music on YouTube. Y'all about to. I need that shouting organ music. Y'all about to start up and have church up in this mug. Let me find this little playlist real quick.
That was A1. You know how Deacon do up there, boy. He be
Telling you, honey, Deacon Jeff Def Jam said, "Yo, let me go ahead and bring this thing back full circle, baby."
Yeah,
That's a
sometimes-
testimony for me too, honey. It's a testimony for me. You know, y'all know what I've been through, continue to go through at times. And if it wasn't for number one, the Lord on my side, number two, my real family, you know, my real family by love. Maybe not so much by blood, but by love.
Ride or die.
Sometimes y'all will just send a what is it, a gift, just send it, and it be right on time. Even though it has nothing to do about the drama, it brings me a little like giggle, gives you what you need to go ahead and go through. So I know. And I think, yes, that will tie into our topic tonight.
Yes, indeed. And shouts out to our frat brother who actually brought the topic. He and A Money came and he brought it up and stuff. I said, man, that is a powerful topic right there. So I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna let A Money do the justice because he done already started us on this high energy. You know, he got us filled up, you know, about to overflow. So go ahead, A Money.
Well, like you just got through eloquently saying about our fellow frat brother, Mr. Holt. We're giving you credit on this particular topic for this evening. And the topic is the positive legacy of families. What impact does the family as a whole leave on their respective community? Once again, the positive legacy of families. What impact does the family as a whole leave on their respective communities?
I love it. Shout out to family. Looks like my daughter has just got on. I'm gonna give a shout out to Terry Digsby. She's just joined in. Good to see you, babe. She's been doing some things. She can definitely chime in because her family is growing exponentially.
Yes, it has.
She made a joke about it. She said every time Liz gets on, she has a baby.
We'll put, and we may have to push Liz back a couple of more months then.
We better push her back a couple years.
Like, man, she said that I died. I was like, oh my goodness. Maybe I started counting up.
Oh, that's too funny.
Well, Mel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. You said did you want A Money to go ahead and start off and you want to throw your curveball in there real quick, or how you want to do it?
Well, I'll say the curveball, but I think that legacy is something that when that's all we had to pass down, that was something that was a priority. The definition and the idea of having a reputation that the neighborhood respected, that you were known to be good and fair and honest. Those were the things that were important. When you were able to buy a home or buy land, that was the things that was important. Things like a piano, so you had the non-tangible and intangible things that were things that you saying, hey, I want to make sure my this and that and the other has. And I think our older generations were so limited and boxed in and restricted that they tried to set things up so their future generations wouldn't be. And now we feel like we have the right, the privilege, even some obligations to things that we don't look at, still passing those things down for our legacies and our generations to come. I love when Beyonce has a song and she says, I think that's I'm number 5 on Forbes list or something like that. And she said, oh, no, she said something about building wealth or generational wealth, and she says that's a lot of brown children on your Forbes list. She's talking about making not only for right here, right now, but her children upon grandchildren, that they're going to be so well off. She's creating generational wealth and that long money. We as Black people don't come from a lot of long money. We got some people that's got money, but they don't come from that long money or that old money, as they say. So, right. It has to start at some point,
Good point.
True that. Oh, that almost felt like church.
It did. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but since you brought it up,
did it feel like church because I went too long, or did it feel like church because it was going on? Okay. I ain't know what you was trying to say. I ain't know what you were talking
about.
Oh no!
What that was like this?
No, it was. Exactly.
Ain't know he was trying to say I was I was Pentecostal, or he wanted me to be Presbyterian. I ain't know which he wanted. I ain't know what kind of he want. Oh,
no, you played it right down the middle. You dropping some show enough fat toys right there.
Terry just said, funny, just drove by a piece of land. I'm manifesting building the Digsby compound there. Something I can leave behind along with love of family and faith. Good point. Good one. And I'm be honest with you. It's funny. I just going to put the spirit when it moves, it tends to, and it knows, because I know when I moved to Charlotte 4 years ago, Renee and I were having a discussion. We were y'all remember where we were living in an apartment over near the university area and such. And Renee said herself, she said, Kay, because she still call me Kay. She said, Kay. She said, you get 2 months. 2 years. She said, you get 2 years. And I said, okay, 2 years. She said, 2 years. She said, she's from, where she's from the country. And she's from where, family of our complexion has land. Okay. And they believe in building on that land and letting other family members build on the land, or having get-togethers in which, people are together. So it was funny. She's like, I give you 2 years. Okay, 2 years turned around. She was like, okay, what are we going to do? So I said, okay, we're going to find a home. We could have found any home, but we wanted a home that we could call a home. In other words, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, extended family, everyone can come here and be welcome. And that was the key goal. And it's interesting because when I look at it and see where we are now, but then I think about, and y'all can probably echo these same sentiments, when we were growing up, generational wealth was not taught to us.
No.
It was, make enough money, pay the bill, start over again. Make enough money, pay the bill, and start over again. And, it's unfortunate, but then looking at where we are right now, where we can start educating, like sis always talk about, educating the next generation, so therefore they can be prepared. So therefore your greats will be prepared and stuff. So it's funny how she mentioned that, and then here's my daughter out and about looking for the next Digsby compound. I'm like, wow, that, and then A Money, hey, this is gonna be a good one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you both were looking for homes and hearing the conversation, they shared that conversation with me that you and Queen Renee had. And I said had a conversation with Adrian, and Adrian being Adrian, he said, me and Tara looking, he said, but when it's our time, it'll be our time. A Money has always been the yin to my yang, like me, I'm all A Money be like, nice, calm down. Or do you think that's so? I learned so much from y'all, and to have partners that are on the same page that you are, you know what I mean? Because not one time did A Money ever feel like he was here and Queen Tara was there. Now, every one time when you were talking about it, you were here and Queen Renee was there. You both had partners that was like, this is kind of where we're going. This is the time frame that we're going to do it. And you had agendas. It was more than just getting a house. You were looking for something that you wanted to be able to be comfortable with, to pass on, to give to the grandkids in future generations. So I got so much from that, for a whole many different lessons.
I think it was and it's interesting because I think that's something in which we need to also pass on to our children, and hopefully they'll pass on to the children's children, is that type of communication. I don't know about anybody else as far as like their perceptions when it comes to marriage, because I remember when I was coming up, to me, marriage was kind of like, ooh, do I really want to get married? But then now when I look at it, it's like, ooh, why didn't I do this earlier? But then I think about it, I said, well, God saw fit to place me where I had to be, with who I had to be who I can be. And it's very interesting because when I look at like the communication with Renee, I value when we talk to each other, like, even it's the most simplest thing. Like, we just came from the grocery store. And she was just like, you want to do hot dogs tonight? I was like, sure. And then she went, she's like picking up the vegan about hot dogs because I'm going to do vegan. And then she's like, well, you know me, I'm going to go over here and get these turkey dogs. I'm like, cool. I said, so what type of size? So we just having those type of conversations. And people be like, y'all go to the grocery store and do that? I'm like, but I love that. I mean, I love when we can just like go and we walk and we picking out stuff and do whatever it is. Because to me, it's us being jointly fed. And I hope that our children and then our children's children can see that that's part of the family. Whenever you come from a family, you got a husband and a wife or a mother and father that aren't communicating with each other, that gravitates to the young person. And then they, in turn, that's what they learn. So then you have situations in which it's like, okay, so here I am trying to be in a relationship with somebody. I got a guard up. I don't want to talk to them about it. I want to keep it to myself. I want to do this. I want to do that. The other person's like, what in the world is going on with them? So I love it when I can do those things. And to me, it's just second nature. And then our children see it. Funniest thing. And then Eamon, I want you to chime in afterwards. But it's the funniest thing because our sons have come to us whenever they are interested in a young lady. Like CJ, when he was interested in Terry and such, he talked to me about it and everything. Now they're married. Now they got like a tribe. Cool. Our oldest son came to me. He was like, he just had to know the secret. He's just like, hey, how this, da 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 da. He said, I really wanted to come talk to you. And I said, to me, it wasn't a secret, but I can see why he would ask that because of how society is and how they portray being in a relationship or how the family unit is supposed to be. So it's like, we're a blended family. This is what we did to make it work. In my mind, I didn't look at us as blended. I looked at you as my son. And I'm going to do everything I can for you. And whoever you bring into this, they're going to be part of the big plan. So it was like, wow, okay. So, and we talked, all three of us, we got together and we were talking. And it's that communication. And I think sometimes family want to keep stuff secret. They don't want to, they don't want to talk about it. I ain't got time to talk about that stuff, blah, blah. And that brings up a wall and it keeps families from really growing, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Mahogany.
What's up, Heidi? Heidi, tonight's topic. Oh, man, it's a good one. We're talking about family and the importance and the positive influence of family, especially in today's communities. So love for you to chime in. Hey, Money.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of something just hit me thinking about the night's topic. I recall my mom and dad talking in passing. We were just having a general conversation about how they grew up and how they met and everything. And something that kind of coincides with what we're talking about tonight about the positive impact of a family and the community was that when they first started dating, it was either my father's mother who asked about my mom, or either or vice versa.
Mm.
And they said, they asked the last name. They told them the last name. She said, I know that family.
Mm.
They're good. That's a good family. And yeah, you could do way worse than dating outside of that family or something to that extent. But
Mm.
and reflecting on that, a lot of that back then was through how a family conducted themselves in the community, as far as whether or not you wanted to be associated with them. And I think that that is a very powerful impact on a community, especially if you're coming from a good family, and how you conduct yourself in the community. So
Yeah, because
it
they asked them two questions:
uh-huh.
who your
Yeah.
people and where they
Hmm.
from. Number
That's
one,
right.
you need to
Yeah.
make sure that you wasn't crossbreed. And number
Good
two,
point.
you need to make sure that, like you said, like, oh, if they were known to be gamblers and drinkers and fighting in the little juke joints and all that, then yeah, your
Mm-hmm.
dad and your mom will look at you and be like, that's who you who you
Yeah.
like, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that is something that has it's starting to make its way back with
Hmm.
our generation, but it definitely went out the window because we went through a period where these young people, like, they thought I was weird back in the day because my if you met my mom and my brother, you were special.
Mm.
I could go out with you, we could have a great time, you know, but that's it. You're not getting in. Like, you may even pick me up from the house, but you're not getting in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, so like even that was like, well, why you care? Like, so what? Like, what? I need to let you know that there's levels to this, and
Hmm.
Hmm.
you're not on that level if you don't get in. Let's keep that clear. So I think that is so important, just kind of building the whole family dynamic up to incorporate values and traditions and legacy. The curveball or the little upset that we were talking about on my message board group was the definition of family.
Mm.
Do you have to come from a two-parent household to be a positive family dynamic? And retraining your brain to what a broken household really is.
Oh wow, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah, most
Golly.
of it is.
Hmm. Hmm. That's a twofold, isn't it?
That's a twofold.
Okay, that's a
What
twofold.
y'all think?
Honestly, I think okay. So the first part of it was basically, it sounds like, do you have to be blood?
Let's not say two parent. Let's just say traditional. Do you
Right.
have to have the traditional family dynamic of mom, dad, kids? Because this is for single moms or single dads,
Mm-hmm.
or a married couple who decided we don't want to have children. Does that make them less of a family unit that could be influential to the community? You know what I mean? So this is
Hmm.
kind of where the question came from.
Hmm. CA
Well,
money.
I mean, as you stated earlier, Melissa, family doesn't even have to be blood. I mean, it could be friends, associates. Well, if you consider them like family, then they're friends.
Right.
So I mean, and I totally agree with that. With and using that as an example already, that certainly bucks the trend as far as having that traditional family structure. And with that being said, you can still make positive impacts in the community with not having that traditional family structure. So I definitely I don't you can do that being a single parent. You can do that being again not tied by blood to anybody, and still be a positive reflection of a family and contributing to the community, in my opinion.
I agree. I definitely agree. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Heidi just commented. She said, Nani and I don't have children, but I consider our household very much a family. I'm glad she said it. See, that's my family right there. But yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example because, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the spot because Anani and Heidi in their household, I'll just be real with you. I was over the moon, if that's a term to be used, when my brother found Heidi. Okay, God blessed him with this woman because let me tell you, there is so much love that comes out of Heidi. If you've ever been to one of their housewarmings or their events at their house, I mean, it's Heidi knows how to be spectacular and amazing, and it's so much fun. But as soon as you get in there, it's like she's known you forever. You feel that love when you come into their crib, seriously. And the way they are with their nieces and their nephews and stuff like that, literally you would think it's their kids because that's how much love they put on them. Okay. So I love the fact that she stated that and she beat me to it because really, I think that's what the world needs now more than ever is not the fact of being so quote unquote, it's got to fit like this. It's got to fit right here. And I think that's what really makes the family dynamic when we start caring about each other and we start, interacting with each other and such. Terry said, I didn't come from a 2-parent household. Didn't have a mother or a father. CJ and I really work hard to have a great and good foundation for our clan so we can leave a wonderful legacy for them. The Black family, I think she's meant the Black family is under attack, and while there's no perfect family, I want them to strive to build on our family unit and keep it going. Thank you for saying that, babe. So true. So true.
I've only been to Heidi's house one, and that was for Renee's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, I was a little uncomfortable because of some people who were in attendance there as well. Mm-hmm. And this is why I believe that you feel when people say fill your house with love, mm-hmm. like you fill your house with love. Mm-hmm. The fact that Hagi and her king have filled their house with love and joy and good vibes, mm-hmm. I believe that calmed me and made me understand, hey, you know what? We here for a celebration. Mm-hmm. Mahogany is she's one of those people who, like, you hold your breath because you know what she's about to do or say is going to make you laugh or going to make you smile or going to make you whatever. Like, she doesn't try to be on a show or on a stage. It is just natural. And to see her and her husband interact, to see, how she interact with guests, whether they've been there before or they've been there their first time, like, they have that vibe. That's genuine because that's what her and her king has put all throughout that house. And so the feeling was so like overjoyed, like you couldn't be sour. You couldn't be in a bad mood. You know what I mean? And so that is so true with the vibes and the energy that you have in your home. It's about who you are making that with. Not so much that it fits into this perfect little, preconceived box of what it's supposed to look like. I grew up with my mom. And even being little, I used to stare at families. And my mother used to say, what are you looking at? What are you staring at? And I used to say, that family. And she said, well, we're a family. And I was young and I was honest. I was like, no, we're not, because we don't have a dad in our house. And I did not understand my processing and going through that, at 5 and 6. But as I began to be older and understand what family really means, we were a family. We were a family unit. And everyone that came to my mother's house was like, she making spaghetti. We eat spaghetti and everybody ate, or she's like, hey, I'm just gonna fry some potatoes, but you welcome to some if you want some. And they eat fried potatoes and like thought it was the best meal in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
of that same good vibe and energy, I still have friends that talk about that. You know, like I can't believe your mom invited me in for dinner, or I can't believe your mom let me stay because they were having having a hard time. You know, like I can't believe your mom just was like, don't go out or don't go home. Just stay here for the night. You need to calm down and then you go back to your house or go back to your parents or whatever. Like that was who she is. And I came from a family of love on both sides, my mom's side
Mhm.
and my dad's side. So it is very important to see that because your kids, like you were talking about, Carrie, it's amazing, especially as they get older or they become grown,
Mhm.
the things that you or the things that they remember or the things that they decide to take with them and put in their grown-up suitcase from their childhood. And you're like, I didn't even know you were paying attention. Or I didn't even know that that was something that you cared about. So it is very important that we are just genuine because
Mm.
you just don't know what whoever is going to pick up on that.
So true. I second everything that y'all was saying about Hagi and the husband. Um, that is a gift that you can't uh, make yourself do. That's just
Mhm.
natural, and it's so few people that can put you at ease like that.
Yep.
And it's a blessing to know that there's people out there that still like that. So
Yep. Yep.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it's a gift because it's a lot of people that look at that and be like, dang, I wish I had it. And there's no
yes,
way for you to, there's nothing you can do. You either have it or you don't between you and your
absolutely,
Absolutely.
spouse. It's either there or it's not.
yes.
Yeah. So Terry just chimed in on this. Interesting. She said, all I know is that the Digsbys and the Sanders family came through when I was estranged from my family. So if the interviewers get a chance to be around them in their home, you will leave feeling loved. I appreciate it, babe. Let me tell you, it's interesting because you saying that, and A Money had mentioned as far as the when you come from a good family and how that resonates in a community. So I want to chime in like on the Sanders side. My wife was formerly a Sanders, and ironically enough, when I met her, I was joking around with her. I said Sanders. And I'm thinking like, oh, you related to Deion Sanders, son? Because I had a Deion Sanders sweatshirt that I had cop a long time ago, and she was like, yeah, she's actually related to him. And I was like,
Wow.
what? But where she's from, it's so crazy like how their family runs so deep in that like in the area they're from Stanley, North Carolina, so in Gaston County, and then also in Georgia and Florida area and Texas and stuff like that, like the Sanders are known. And I didn't know that, and they all come from like a gospel background and everything and stuff and all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just like, when you say Sanders, it's like, oh yeah, I'm related to so and so, so I know so and so. But the love that they share, it's so amazing to me. Like they embrace me as though I was one of their own. And I want to give a quick plug because her dad, God bless his soul, when I first met him, drove all the way to Stanley, North Carolina. Okay, and I'm hearing jokes from my boys about country and stuff. So I drive there and I meet her dad. And her dad says to me, take me on up here to this farm. Excuse me? Yes,
Did he
I
have
can
a
go
gun
up
in
to
the
the
car?
Yo, sis, I was thinking that. So I'm thinking like, oh my goodness. So I took him to the farm and he's feeding the goats and everything. He's talking to me. So we're chit-chatting, we're vibing. So I get back with him and Renee said, where'd you been? I said, I took your dad to the farm. She was like, it's just like shock everybody in the house. Because I was the only guy he's ever done that. In fact, no guys have ever been able to come into the house or whatever. I got to do that. And from there, we started he and I, we would go farm. We go down to this corner store where you get like fresh honey and strawberry wine and stuff. We did all that stuff with each other and stuff. So, but I remember this so vividly. When he passed away, I did the program for his homegoing service. And I took it to this printer. And when I took it to the printer and I was asking him, how much it would cost to get all these printed in color, I needed several hundred, because you know the people in that area. So he looked at it, he was like, June Sanders. And I was like, yes, sir. You know, white printer, whatever. But he was, I got it. I'm taking care of this. And I looked at him, I was like, what? He said, June Sanders used to go and he had a farm. I said, yeah, he did. He said, but you don't understand. He used to take the stuff from his farm and would drive down streets in Belmont and Mount Holly and give the food away. I was done that day. And it all goes back to what bro was talking about. Shouts out to Jeremiah. He just came on. The legacy that you leave. Mm-hmm. This man would, you know, he would have his kids and people, you know, at the farm, pulling stuff up, cleaning it, putting it in his truck and everything. He was going and he was blessing other people who were less fortunate, feeding in 2 different towns in Gaston, North Carolina, Gaston County. I was so outdone. I had to come back and I told Renee that. And I told her brothers about it. I told a lot of people about it. Something like, wow. I said, that's the legacy. Not only do the Sanders sing gospel and they know to be athletically coordinated and stuff, very good businessmen and stuff. I said, but y'all bless people. I said, that's the type of legacy. You know, that's something in which we each should need to strive for. So I just thought that was so amazing, you know. So shout out to Dad and everything for leaving that type of legacy. Jeremiah said the legacy of families are the heart of the community.
Yes, they are.
Oh, how you said, I couldn't imagine marrying into a better family. Both of our families absolutely love each other. That's true. Her family is amazing too. Let me tell you, her family is well known as well. So it's weird when bro was talking about the legacies.
It's definitely it. I'm gonna share something.
Share, sis.
Go ahead.
So, one of my daughter's friends, she sent me this text, and then she sent a follow up, and she said, "Hey, this is from so and so," and I was like, "Oh." So I'm reading this text, and basically, my daughter and the young man had fallen. You know, friendship had just kind of changed, and he wanted to apologize for how he handled the relationship that he and my daughter shared. And he also wanted to say that in the midst of him going through some of the things that he was going through at that time as a young man, that when he came here, he always felt that this was a safe place for him. And that I always made him feel welcome and shared positivity with him. He said he didn't know somebody so cool could be a good parent. I was like, okay. But he just said, like, I wanted to thank you. And he was like, if you need a replacement child, since, you know, I'm an empty nester, that he would be, you know, my replacement child.
No.
And so I was like, wow, you know, like that blew me away that he would think enough of me to write that. And so I did send him a reply, and I did let him know that, you know, you're young. I don't hold anything against you. There's no apology needed. But repentance is the acknowledgement of a shortcoming and the behavior to change it.
Ooh.
So
it's recording right now.
And so that the fact that he is doing that makes me proud that he's becoming the man that I've already seen. I've seen who he turns into as an adult all the way down. You're on that right path. And I let him know that, you know, love is infinite. We can make as much of it as we want. No one should run out of love. But you have to remind yourself that sometimes you got to make it yourself. It may not come from someone else. But we had the opportunity and our option to make love because it is infinite. And so I let him know that I've already adopted you. So you can't be a replacement kid, because anyone that steps in my door or I spend time with or I give a ride, I'm telling y'all, on Mother's Day, I mean, one time I just broke down in tears because of the texts that were coming in. but they were the texts that was coming in from my kids' friends. Like, Mom, thank you so much. Like, they took time to like type out a text. Like, it wasn't just something that was forwarded, something they took time to type out what and how I influenced them as a mother figure. And it made such an impact on me to be even better, to be even more understanding. And I think it helped me be a better mother to my own children, because sometimes we can easily extend grace and understanding to people who aren't in our house.
Yep.
And we have to make sure that it is equally provided to everyone. And so, I just wanted to share that, especially having this show. And that was another reason where I was just like, are you kidding me? Because I just had this happen like this week. And I'm like, oh my God, like, wow. But I wanted to also add, and I'm gonna be quiet. I brought up the dynamics of what is considered a family
Traditional.
and traditional. And I want to make sure that we dispel what broken home means, because I know it was a term that was to bring shame towards those mothers who were raising their kids on their own,
Yeah.
or the wife who husband left them, or having somebody who wasn't never at home because due to work or whatever the case. And it was just like, it was weaponized. And it was wrong, because there's a lot of people who have the $300,000-$400,000 plus price tag on their homes, and they're driving, luxury cars, and their kids are at, if not a private school, a prestigious, CMS or Union County school, and their house is broken because they don't see the love that's shared between their parents, like the two of you have, and how you spoke, such a privilege to have a chance to meet him, to have that kind of a bond that, hey, you know what, I love you because you love my daughter. Their houses are broken because their kids don't have a safe place in their own homes. They look outside of their home to seek refuge. And so I want us to be able to help society unlearn what that term means, because there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, I didn't want my kid to grow up without a father. I didn't want my kid to grow up without da-da-da. And you are doing more damage to your kid raising them in that environment than if you would have went ahead and got your own place and did what you need to do so you can have a peaceful home.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, very good point.
Wow.
Gosh. Jeez.
I know, right?
Tear to my eye.
I know. Y'all emotional over here.
But that's so true, because it really legacy. You could, and hearing your testimony just now, Melissa, it doesn't necessarily have to be family to make an impact. Just like how you were doing that individually, and I know you and your husband are very welcoming, and being very welcoming and everything. But just to hear what you just got through sharing with us, well, that made my heart big. I mean, the receptions that you were getting in return from the outpouring to the young people, that legacy is going to continue to go for it, and they're going to remember you for that. And I can say the same thing with Carrie and Renee. Very open, very welcome. Give you the shirts off their backs. I say that with both of y'all. I don't hesitate in saying that at all. I know if I need something or if my wife needs something, I can pick up the phone. And if y'all had the availability of doing it, y'all would do it. And
I'm right there. I might come in a onesie on, but I'm coming. I had the one with the fleet in and everything, in the hood with the little unicorn horn on the top. But I'm gonna be right there when y'all need me.
And that legacy, it's continuing through your family, your children and everything, and even outstretched from your family to other individuals that had the opportunity and knowing both of you. So
Yeah.
like I said, those type of people are far and in between. Blessed to be able to know you both.
Amen. Thank you,
Feel the
man.
same way. Let's not sleep on A Money and the influence both of you
Yeah.
guys have done with young men in the past, and coming up, whether you know it or not. Now that things are open back up, the influence that you have with young men is so powerful, so impactful that even when we work together, as some of the younger guys, the real estate, black and white,
Mm-hmm.
they knew who you two were because they looked at you guys and respected you as men. They respected the integrity that you walked with, that you worked with, that you communicated with, and they realized who you are. And they used to pull me like, how you like working with them? I love it. Honestly, they're the reason why I still come here every day because of them. Like they really did do that, whether you knew it or not. Like, so shout outs to you two as well.
Appreciate
Oh,
that.
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And Terry just made a point as far as it definitely doesn't have to be blood. I wanted to post that real quick, and I kind of want to chime in on that. It's interesting because I was about to say something and she said something about it. It don't. When it comes to family, it's interesting because a lot of times people think, okay, so family, you have to be blood related or whatever sort. And the way the world is today, so many times we have a blended family, and once you're blended, to me, you're in, all in, and it's the same way when it comes to in-laws, and I don't really even call them in-laws. They're to me, they're in. Renee's sister is my sister. Renee's husband, sister's husband is my brother, and my brothers, Renee's brother, they're my brothers. To the point in which we actually, we communicate with each other weekly. To check on each other and make sure everything is good. When it comes to the relationship that I have, with my cousins and other people and stuff, let me put it this way: what makes family so strong is what you put into it. Okay, whether you're by blood or whether you are blood or whatever sort, that's what makes family. And it goes back to some time ago when I mentioned as far as the when you're putting things into the emotional bank, and if you're constantly withdrawing, then there's nothing going to be in the bank. And if you're constantly investing, then you should look for a great return. And it's the same way a lot of times with family. We love family unconditional. We love each other unconditional. But there are times, with family that sometimes you've got to kind of like say, okay, you pump the brakes and you give it a moment and stuff because you don't want things to get out of ordinary. And you got to give them, quote unquote, that tough love then. But then at the same time, though, family is very, very important, especially when it comes to people that are constantly looking to put you in a place that you need to be, and sometimes not where you want to be. And you know what I'm talking about. A lot of times when people want to give you, and pat you on the back and everything, before you know it, you're in trouble or whatever. No, to me, family is somebody who's going to give you those tough talks and be like, look, dude, you knew better than that. Why would you even do, and it's like no pat on the backs and whatever sort. The sympathy is gonna come after the sermon. So a lot of times, to me, that's some good family right there. I can tell you many times I've had talks with, Hey Money, and I've had talks with Melissa and stuff, and sometimes there'll be some stuff I'm like, ugh, but I go back and I'm like, dang, they're my ride or dies right there because they sold something into my spirit that I needed to hear right there. And I think that's very important as well. And you don't have to be blood a lot of times for that to happen. I got two dudes that I grew up with from doggone pre-junior high. That as soon as they come into town or whatever sort, we chop it up as though nothing has changed. And we, all family men, all doing our thing, Greek life, everything of that nature. So we're not there all the time. But as soon as we get together, it's as though nothing has changed. And it's the same way with their family. They look at us as though we're brothers. Like, what is it, the Johnsons? that is on.
Oh yeah. The Johnson family.
It's just like that. In which it's like y'all could be from, oh, y'all brothers? Yeah. But we all got different mothers. And daddies too. It's like that. In which you've gone through the hardships, you fought each other, but yet you raised each other up and things of that nature. So I think that's very important. Oh shit. Look at here, y'all. Oh. Trav, man himself.
Mm-hmm.
Trav said, I think it's about the word need. The divine order of family is mother, father, child. Although some situations may be out of order, we must understand that we need each other. A child needs its mother and father. We now associate the word need with weakness. Whoa.
I have a text where it says, I'm in a family where we are divided. Even though we're all cousins, there's a few cousins that feel like they only want to be with us when it's convenient. They never text or call, and they show up when selected family events. This makes it hard to be family when they don't know what family is. I just heard, they spelled your name, it was Carrie. I just heard Carrie say that love, family is unconditional, but it's hard to have unconditional love when your love is sometimes.
Okay, I'm glad she said that. I'm glad she said that because that is a she, right? Or is it he?
She.
Okay. So I want to throw this out there real quick. And shouts out, hey, Charlie too. Charlie. Tonight's topic is family and the positive influence it has, and especially in our communities. And we'd love to get your input on this as far as family. I'll be the first to say, I never said family is perfect. There is no perfect family. And every family has some sort of situations that they've gone through. And a lot of times there are, you're feeling hard to show, quote unquote, that family love. Let me go ahead and dispel that. Don't show the family love. Show love. Even if it's tough love, show love. Because a lot of times we get in a condition in which we say, oh, family love, we got to step on eggshells, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to be nice, no, just love. Even if it's love from afar, just love, and I'm going to tell you, each one of us here on this panel right now got brothers, got sisters, whatever, in which we've probably done got into it with them, knocked down, drag out, done argued, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, that love is still sitting right here. The love is there.
Absolutely.
And it's, it's hard sometimes to understand that dynamic because I think, a lot of times people get into that, like Sis said, that traditional mentality. We live in lifestyle right now, which tradition is out the window. I mean, it's hard to go tradition. You can't. You just got to know in your heart of hearts that you still have that love for that person. And even if they are the type of family member that comes to the cookout and they bring 2 check sodas and want to walk out with 4 bags of food, you still love them, regardless. You still gotta love on them because you don't know. And that's why I'm so adamant about, like when I tell my sons and stuff, call and check on each other. Call and talk to your uncles. Check on your aunts. Get a chance, go by your grandma and granddad's house or whatever. So, because at the end of the day, when the world is against you, the only thing that you're going to have is that love.
That's right. And my cousin in Atlanta, shout out to Nat. Carrie, you got introduced to her when she was asking about the different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
She was making a point, and we were talking about family and the family dynamics. And she said, we have a family that we love hard. Mm-hmm. I started laughing when you were talking about when it comes down to dating, because we always make a joke. My aunts, my mom even used to say it. When you bring somebody around and you date them, it's like the mob. It's like the mafia. Like, it's hard to get out. Even if y'all break up. So I had one of my younger cousins say, look, when I break up with her, we break up with her. Like, quit having her come to the house and I pop over and she there. Like, we got to break up with her because we literally, you know, it takes you got to be some kind of animal for my family to be like, yeah, we're not even messing with you anymore.
Right.
And so she made the point to say that through all of that and how hard we love as a family, we're critical lovers,
right,
more than unconditional lovers. When something happens, you need something, somebody gets sick, you get word somebody almost gonna die, somebody in trouble, they got drama, the boyfriend had jumped on them, girlfriend trying to do that. Oh, we are there, snap, jab, lock, and loaded, okay? But just to say, hey, what you doing? I'm going to mommy. You want to go to mommy? Or, hey, what's up? Let's go get something to eat. That gets lost. And so having that conversation with her, I told her, I said, thank you so much. I said, I am making it my point in my business to all of my family to make sure that I am an unconditional, intentional person to show love versus critical.
I like that. Good point.
Yes.
So Terry chimed in and said, I take blood family with a grain of salt, or else they can really drag you down emotionally. For example, my biological father couldn't make it to my ceremony, but he went to a different state to walk my stepsister, who didn't even live with them and was grown when they married, down the aisle. But I bet y'all can guess who came through and walked with me.
I was there. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I did.
And made a whole batch of bad green beans.
Well, let me be honest with you. I didn't do that.
Who made the green beans?
Queen.
Oh, Queen Renee made the green beans. Yeah, I had to add that to my menu every now and then.
Yeah. And here's the thing, but it's awkward for that to come up because in my mind, when I was asked, I didn't think of any other. I thought of it this way: she's my daughter, and I want her to have the best today. And I do that with any of my family members or whatever. And I think when you're part of that type of tribe, you're supposed to be able to do for your family. You're supposed to be able to step out of sorts to do for your family. I can think of many times Adrian and I have talked, and we tend to kind of share our experiences. And I think when you do that, you hope and pray that it's a seed that's going to take root, and then that's it. You're not asking for the accolades. You're not asking for the pat on the back. You're not asking for the fanfare. You just want to plant a positive seed. So when she asked me to do that, I was honored, and I wanted to. And the reason why I did it is because I wanted to make sure she had her day. It's very important, and to me, it'd be no different. If one of my sons said, Dad, I need you to do X, Y, Z at my wedding or whatever the case may be, I would definitely do it. Really, any of my family members, I would do it because I think we need to start setting a trend and an example that people start seeing us in a positive light. Especially when it comes from, like what Sis was saying, when you're coming from a broken home or a dysfunctional home or whatever the case may be, there's got to be some light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
And we got to start doing that. And sometimes it's a sacrifice, and sometimes we may even question it deep in our spirit. But then that's when he steps in and he says, "Why not? That's what I bless you. So you should do this, and watch what I do afterwards." And I think that has happened so many times when each one of us, the three of us on this panel, the people that are popping in right now and they're chiming in, I know without a shadow of a doubt, we have blessed someone else because that's what family do. And we don't ask for the accolades. We just do it because, like Sis said, locked, loaded, and ready. Well, that's scary right there, boy. But that's
I mean, but because I tell you all the time, and I don't mean to sound good or violent or whatever, but I mean, when I tell you I serve a bullet for you, I will. I definitely will. It's not because that's the seriousness of what I am and what you are in my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of people will talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And I think it comes down to your family dynamic and how you influence a community. It comes down to your actions. It comes down to you walking the walk. My cul-de-sac that I live in, when one of us go out of town, even with the newer people that have moved in, if we happen to leave on a Friday and that's our trash day, and they know that we're out of town, when we come back, my garbage cans, if not where I usually keep them, they're at least pulled back up to my garage. Same thing with me. If I know, hey, they're going to be out of town, or they might even say, hey, we're going to be out of town, just keep an eye out on the house. That's what we do. That's just how we take care of each other, because I was taught that your family and your home reflects outside.
That's right.
And so that's why people used to be so quick to say, they ain't had no proper upbringing, they ain't had no proper raising, because whatever you did out in the streets was a reflection of what your home life was.
That's right.
Versus vice versa. Like, you didn't go out there and do X, Y, Z and then brought it in the house. Your foundation, your core, your unit was your home, and it gave you what you needed to go outside that door. And so, you know, I think we have to just get back to putting into some old, good old cornbread, collard green teaching, some old time, old school to say, look, it's important that your name means something. It's important that when somebody else see you in a store, I can't count people from church, people from the kids' school, whatever, and they be like, oh, I ran into your daughters. Oh, they were so nice, because it's almost an expectation for them to be different.
Right.
Because we're not around.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I get that, I'm kind of like, okay, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. But at first I used to be flattered, but then I'm kind of not, because I'm like, Dad, is everyone else acting a fool so much that you're expecting that if somebody isn't around their parent, that they're not going to be the same caliber of person, you know?
I know, right? Oh,
what she saying? I just realized you were there.
She done switched up on you, daughter. She look different. She glowing. You know, all that.
Yes, boo. I was there.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Siri, I'm working on something. I'm gonna have to get it to you. I'm working on something for the kids.
Oh,
I'm back in my crafting mode. So,
all right now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, sir.
Use that gift.
That's what's up. And I want to shout out to everybody who's come onto the show tonight and such. And special shout out to Jeremiah for coming up with this topic, because I think you know, it's interesting. Last week when everybody was on the water cooler, and we was too as a show, and we talked about the situation that happened between Will and Chris, and I'm not going to revisit that or whatever. So, but it was something that happened that really kind of like shook everybody up. But then for someone to come and say, hey, why don't y'all talk about this topic right here? I think it brings everything back into alignment.
Yep.
When it comes to family and how and here's the irony, because when we came up with this show years ago, and I remember a certain gentleman saying the ATRT family, and I looked, I said, hey, that's pretty dope, bro. I like that. And then he said, the People's Podcast. Man, it just, and it's so ironic that here we are years later, and then this topic comes up, and we're talking about family. And we, ironically enough, we created a family right here. to be able to come together and like minds and spirits, just to be able to chit chat about certain topics and to walk away. Once we walk away, we've learned something, not only amongst the three of us, but also from y'all chiming in. Like Charlie said, my friend, I always get that mixed up, especially now I'm on drugs. Can somebody say friendly? It's closer to me than my family. That says a lot. That's a testament to what we're, I guess, trying to portray. If that makes sense. Oh, they just haven't communicated.
Hello.
What's up?
I think that is it. You have to understand that you are you have to understand that it's you mean more than what you think you do. And you have to raise your sights and expand it from just what you looking around the 360. Like, you have to understand that you mean so much more than where you are right now. Because if you decide today, I'm not going to go to this actual group that I said I was going to go to, you might be missing out on your opportunity to bless somebody that was going to be there. That God put in that path because he wanted you to be the person to have influence. He wanted you to be the person to encourage that brother, encourage that father, encourage that mother to say, I can do it. And that's why it's important for us to be still have discretion, but be transparent, and be transparent in a genuine way versus just showing all your cards, because people know when you fake, and people know when you just, trying to be manipulative, but they also know when you are real. And it's important that you do the things that you need to do. Every time you wake up and you pull air in and out of your lungs, it's an opportunity for you to be the best that you could be, whether that's going to be for you, your actual family that you're in the house with, or somebody out there in those streets. You don't know what it's like and how you want to influence that person. It may come back to them a year from now, 10 years from now, and you run into them and they're like, I know you don't remember me, but you said something to me while we were in the store, or I didn't know that I had lost my money. I didn't know. I was just going to try to get on the bus and see if I could let the driver know I ain't have no money, and you gave me money. Like, you have to be at a place where you can receive your orders from God in order for you to be effective. Because a lot of times, let's talk about that influence in the community. Are you being a good one or a bad one? Are you being a docile one where your presence is there, but there's no energy?
Should have dropped another one, bro.
I certainly did.
Charlie co-signed on that.
Yes.
Man. Well, y'all, this is a good topic. We can go on and on, but come to that time once again.
Goes by so quickly. Hey, but I leave the night with my heart full. Hearing you all's testimony and our viewers' testimonies as well. Just such a blessing to be in this community, all of us together.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
See, and you just brought up another one. A Money, the community is where you gather. It don't necessarily mean.
That's so true.
So you constantly got to be on point,
So true. Right.
Yes, well, family, and we say that, family, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight on At the Round Table podcast show. As always, if you get a chance, share the show. Hopefully what we've said tonight and the people, all of y'all, what y'all shared with us, hopefully will be like a seed and it hit some soil. It'll get a lot of good nutrition and vegetation will come forth and it'll just be prosperous. You know, we need that, especially like Charlie just said, community.
Absolutely.
Community.
Absolutely. And please, next week, if you have the opportunity, join us next week also for a very special guest.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And her whole thing is built around community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes indeed. Yes indeed. But we're not gonna share it with y'all yet. But just tune in next week and get ready. Y'all definitely gonna enjoy it. But as always, be a blessing to other people. If you get a chance, you know, bless somebody, no matter how small it is. Hey, it could be the world to them. And it's the positive side of media, and it is the People Podcast Show. We are.
Thank you again, Mr. Hope, for the
Thank you, Jeremiah.
topic. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see y'all again next week.